Today, I want to talk a little bit about sharing and using Google Drive. This is a marvelous tool that you will find very useful in your teaching practice. So the first thing I want to do today is I want to upload a file to my Google Drive. And I'm going to show you a little bit, kind of give you a little bit of a test drive first. All of these, first of all, you can see that my drive is highlighted over here on the left. And you can see that here in the main window, you can see several folders. There's 8 folders or 10 folders here, and then there's 2 files here. And if I click on this little triangle to the left here, that expands out all of my folders. And you can see that I've been pretty busy with Google Drive. I use it a lot, and I use it to store things because our district has given us unlimited storage, which is great. Um, so anyway, the way that you access your Google Drive is you just go to google.com and let's go ahead and do that real quick. So you go to google.com, and if you're not signed in to Google, you'll see a little button up here that says sign in, and you'll sign in with your school email and log in, and then you'll see this. And I can tell that I'm already logged in because my little icon is up here. My profile icon is up here in the upper right corner. And the way to get to Drive is to click on this little tic-tac-toe board right here, and then you click on Drive, and it'll bring up your Drive. If you've not used it before, you won't see anything here. It'll be empty. And you should think of this as just a unlimited, massive place to not only store files, but also to share them, and to it's like a workspace as well, so you can create things here. So let's go ahead, let's say, as I often do, that I have found something on the internet that I want to use. And so I'm going to upload this to Google Drive. I'm going to store it on my Google Drive. That way it'll be accessible to from any internet connected computer in the world. So I'm going to click on this blue new button here, and I'm going to choose File Upload. I have chosen to store this on my desktop to make it easy to find. This is a file that I found and modified a little bit, something that I think will be useful for students who need help with long division. So what you can see that it showed up right here underneath the folders in the root level of my drive, and you get a little notification here in the lower right corner that says one upload complete, and it tells you the name of the file, and it'll have a little green checkbox next to it. So I'm going to close that. I'm glad it uploaded. So I'm going to double click it to make sure that this is actually the file that I wanted to upload. Hooray. And you can, if you choose, you can print directly from here by clicking on this print icon. You can download it again. If you're on a different computer than the original computer where you uploaded it, you can download it. And you can also do some other things here too. I'm going to show you that in a minute. So I'm going to click on this arrow, this left arrow, which will close this window. And I realize I don't really want it, because I kind of like my files organized. I don't really want it sitting out here in my root level. I want to put it in I want to organize my stuff. So I'm gonna click on that little triangle over here on the left, and I keep all my curriculum materials in an EC resources folder because I'm an EC teacher. So I'm going to click on that, and this will go, because this is a math utility, I'm going to click on math, and I even already have a division folder. So as I said earlier, all of these boxes here represent folders, and then these larger boxes represent files. So I'm going to drag this new file, this long division steps file, I'm going to drag it over to division, and I'm just going to put it in there. And so now I'm going to click on that, and it'll bring up the entire contents of the division folder over here. So there are a couple ways for you to be able to tell where you are in your Google Drive. You can see here on the left that my drive is at the top. There are other folders here, and I have expanded the EC Resources folder because of the little down triangle. And I opened up the math folder and expanded that. And now, because division is highlighted and it's also in blue, you can see that's the folder that we're in right now. And you can also see this breadcrumb trail at the top right here. It says My Drive, EC Resources, Math, Division. So I look at all these files and I think, wow, you know, I haven't actually looked in here in a while. There's a fair amount of resources that I might be able to use with the same group of students. So lo and behold, here's the file that we just put into this folder. And I clicked on it just to double check and make sure, yes, that's the right one. That's the one I wanted. And I'm thinking, there's some other resources here that are also long division. So I'm going to go ahead and create a long division folder that will live in this division folder. So I'll go back over here, click New folder. Because I'm already in the division folder, this new long division folder will live inside here as well. So now you can see that because this triangle was pointing down, you can now see the subfolder has showed up, and it's also now, it's selected because it's in blue, it's at the top of this main window. And right now, there's nothing in it because we just created it. It's brand new. So I'm going to go back to the division folder, and I'm going to start dragging stuff into long division. So obviously this file that I just created, that I just uploaded, I'm going to put that in there because that belongs there. So I just dragged it over with the mouse. And I'm looking at a couple other things and I'm saying, well, let's look at this real quick. Oh yeah, I used that with a student last year who was having trouble with long division. So I'm going to close that window, and I'm going to drag that in there too because it's a long division resource. That goes in there. Here's a document that goes over the partial quotients idea. That's useful. So I'm going to put that in there too. That goes in there. And anything else? Let's see, what about this? Well, there's a few problems that I could give a student to solve for practice. So let's put that in there too. So you want to keep your files organized so they're easy to find. You don't want to spend a whole lot of time finding stuff. So you don't want to spend your valuable planning time or student time looking for resources. If you go ahead and create well-organized folders and stuff, you won't have that problem. So, all right, so now I have this resource, and let's say that I want to share it with some colleagues. So here's the folder, or I'm sorry, here's the file that we uploaded. We put it, you saw me put it in the long division folder. I can click on it from here and click on this little share icon. Okay, you can see it's like a little person with a plus. So I'm going to add more people that will have access to this file. So if I click on that, I can share it, but I can also double click on the file, and I can go over here under more actions up in the upper right, and I can choose share from here as well. So let's say that I want to share this with a couple of colleagues. We talked about it yesterday in a PLT meeting. And before you start adding people, it's important to look at these three options here on the left, because there are three different levels of access that you will give the people that you share your files with. If you choose Can Edit, that means the people who you share with will be able to edit the file, the exact file that you're sharing with them. Now, a PDF file, it's hard for the recipient to edit a PDF file. So it doesn't really apply in this case, but if you're sending them a Google Doc or a Google Sheets file, you may or may not want to give them editing access. That's up to you. But they will be able to edit the same file that you're using with them if you choose that. Can comment is really useful if you're managing a team of people and you're not 100% sure that you want to incorporate every single change that they suggest. If you choose can comment, then they will be able to suggest changes. And then you can go through as the manager of the team and you can look at the changes that they've suggested, and then you decide yourself whether to incorporate them or not. And then can view, this is useful. This is probably the main one that I use because it not only allows people to view and print the files that you send to them, but it also allows anyone who you use this level of access, this can view, people can make a copy of the shared file, save it to their own Google Drive, and then they can edit it as much as they want. They're no longer working on the shared file at that point. So anytime I want to share a file with others and I don't want them to alter my original file, I use that. So that's why it's super useful. So it works well in this case as well. So I'm going to go ahead, and because we are on a shared system that's sponsored by the school system, so I know that the name of the person that I want to share this with starts with the letter J, so I type that. And because I email this person and have shared many files with her, she pops up first. So, or second in the list there. So she's one of the people on my team. So I'm going to add her, and I'm going to add Mr. Reynolds here. So and all I had to do was type the letter E to get him because he's one of the people that I share with most often. So, and then because Ms. McNair, I share with her a fair amount, she shows up. So all I had to do was type the letter M. But as you could see, you can, if I typed in B, it's going to bring up people in the system, in our school system, that email starts with that letter. So it's really useful. So I'm going to now say on here what I'm sharing. I'm going to tell them what I'm sharing. So this is the long division sheet I and yesterday's PLT. All right, so all I have to do now is click send. And what will happen, two things will happen. The first thing will happen is these folks will now get an email saying that they have a file shared with them. The second thing that will happen is they will be able to access this file under their shared with me area, and I'm going to show you that now. So I'm going to click send. These folks are now going to get an email. I'm going to click on this close button, and let's pretend for a minute that I'm not me anymore, that I'm one of the recipients of the email that I just sent, that I have had a file shared with me and I want to know, well, where is it? Where can I find that? So it's not going to be in my drive in any of the folders that I set up. It's going to be, notice how I collapsed everything on my drive, but you can see that I'm still in the long division folder because of this thing here at the top. If I click on that, it'll take me right back to the root level of my drive. But if I want to see what's been shared with me recently, you just click on shared with me right underneath the my drive thing over here on the left. So click on shared with me, and if I were one of those three people that I had just shared the file with, it would show up right here. It would be in this list, and this is a list of things that have been shared with me this year. So that's one easy way to find anything. You can also find it under recent. So if I click on recent, I see this long division file is the most recent thing because I uploaded it just now. And these other files, these other long division files, they are also showing up simply because I moved them. So that's good to know. So if you move or create or change a file in Google Drive, it's going to show up here under Recent. So that's really handy. So I hope you have found this little tutorial useful, and good luck in your Google Drive adventuring.